After betrayal, your mind screams for answers, believing that knowing everything is the only path to healing. But some questions don't just give answers. They create intrusive mental footage that functions like a PTSD flashback. This isn't overthinking. It's your brain entering threat detection mode, treating the affair like a life-threatening event. The difference between healing and re-traumatizing yourself is asking about the architecture of the deceit, not its choreography. We will show you why your brain creates these images, the questions that stop them, and the process that actually creates closure. First, let's identify the questions that wound without informing. These are sensory questions. What did she look like? Where did you do it? These questions don't produce understanding. They produce footage. Graphic details create mental images your brain replays on a loop. This footage becomes a weapon you turn on yourself. Intimate details about the other person directly attack your self-esteem. The impulse to know everything is a trauma response, a desperate search for control. But more graphic facts simply encode more trauma. Worse, when there are gaps in the story, your mind will invent its own footage, often creating scenarios more painful than the reality. We know these images are damaging, but why is the brain so bad at processing them? The answer is in how your brain handles trauma. Infidelity can induce trauma symptoms similar to PTSD. When this occurs, your body is flooded with powerful stress hormones. These hormones disrupt your hippocampus, the brain area that files memories into a coherent story with a beginning, middle, and end. With the hippocampus impaired, the memory isn't filed away. Instead, it's stored as fragmented sensory details, a sound, an image, a feeling. This is the core problem. Your brain is stuck. It's trying to solve a puzzle using only the most painful, fragmented pieces. So if feeding it more sensory fragments only makes it worse, how do you give your brain what it needs? You must change the questions. Instead of asking for footage, you ask for the blueprint. These are architectural questions about the structure of the deception. Ask, how did you conceal it? What did you tell yourself to justify it? Were you ever going to tell me? What has changed in you? These questions produce a timeline, motives, and consequences. They build a story your mind can actually process and eventually close. So before you ask anything, apply this test. Will the answer help me understand the decisions made, or just give me something to picture? But even the right questions are damaging if asked the wrong way. The process of getting answers matters just as much as the questions. The single most damaging process is staggered disclosure, or trickle-down truth. When details come out in pieces, the wound stays open. The antidote is a structured, full disclosure, ideally with a professional present. A single, complete account allows the loop to close. And prepare your questions in advance, on a day you feel calm. The questions you write when regulated are rarely what you demand when flooded. You've prepared the right questions and the right process. But what if the answers you get are defensive and dismissive? Their response is data. Defensiveness tells you more about the safety of the relationship now than any detail about the affair will. While incredibly damaging, know that defensiveness can be a protective response to shame. This doesn't excuse it, but it can inform your next step. Let's connect this all together. We know trauma breaks memory into sensory fragments because it disrupts the hippocampus. Architectural questions are the tools you use to help your brain do the work it couldn't. You give it the material to integrate the memory. This healing requires a partner willing to provide that narrative. Their accountability, answering without defense, builds predictable safety. This shows that asking questions isn't the final step. It is the beginning of a much longer process of recovery. Closure is not a single conversation you can schedule. You cannot get it just from asking questions, no matter how good they are. It is what accumulates when the story is finally complete and, most importantly, the new behavior holds consistently over time. So you have a choice. Questions that provide footage to haunt you, or questions that supply a narrative to heal you. Choose understanding over images. Choose architecture over choreography. By controlling your questions, you reclaim your recovery.